Through countless lifetimes of samsara, there are shining examples of wisdom. There are aspirations steadfast and extraordinary. Today, let us recall the story of Bhaddā, the noble young lady born into wealth and luxury, yet experiencing the suffering of unfortunate love. From the heights of honor and glory, she stepped into the abyss. From a life of vanity and splendor, she let go of everything, donning a simple robe, embarking on the path of asceticism and liberation. With sharp wisdom and a strong, determined heart, she became Bhaddā Kuṇḍalakesā, a revered nun in the Buddhist dispensation, foremost in insight, illuminating the order of nuns, radiating the light of the Dharma throughout the 10 directions. May all of us, upon hearing this story, awaken deep faith in the Triple Gem, diligently practice the path, and together taste the fragrance of liberation and peace. It is said that she was an extraordinarily beautiful girl, the daughter of a wealthy merchant in the city of Rajagaha, well educated, but she fell in love with a thief who was being led to execution at the public square. Her name was Bhaddā, and the thief's name was Sattuka. Out of love for their daughter, her parents had to bribe 1,000 gold coins to arrange for the thief to be swapped and secretly brought home, setting up a marriage. Young Lady Bhaddā and Sattuka began living together amidst wealth and luxury. Soon after, Sattuka harbored evil intentions, planning to kill her in order to steal all her precious jewelry. He devised a scheme, claiming he wanted to perform a Thanksgiving ritual to the guardian deity, the sacred mountain of thieves. One day, after preparing the grand offerings, he led her to a high mountain. There, Sattuka stripped Bhaddā of all her jewelry and intended to kill her. He revealed his true, malicious intention. Disheartened by her evil husband, Bhaddā, using a strategy of her own, feigned passion and cast her gaze upon him with longing. "I love you so much. Do you know?" "I know. You said if you die, I shall die. But please grant me one special favor. Let me embrace and kiss you one last time." "Very well. Hurry." Then Bhaddā hugged and kissed Sattuka from the front, then from behind, and suddenly pushed the thief off the cliff to his death. The celestial beings and mountain guardians, witnessing the thief's complete moral ruin and Bhadda's clever intelligence in countering evil, praised her. Men are not always wise. Women are equally clever. Here and there, women display great wisdom in many ways. Men are not always wise. Women are equally clever. Knowing well what is beneficial or harmful, women think and act with remarkable speed. Having experienced the treachery of love, young Lady Bhaddā threw her jewelry into the abyss, tore her luxurious garments, donned a simple cloth, and sought out a group of ascetic female practitioners of the Nigantha sect. The female ascetics asked her, "What level of ascetic practice do you wish to undertake?" "Venerable, the highest." Thus, instead of shaving her hair with bamboo strips, they plucked each strand of hair from her head, and blood flowed in streams. The female ascetics smeared her robe with mud and filth, handed her an earthen bowl, and taught her the Dharma, meditation, and ascetic practices. Before long, the girl, now a female ascetic, demonstrated remarkable intelligence, iron will, extraordinary intellect, and sharp reasoning, earning the respect of her fellow practitioners. They wished for her to travel and spread the Dharma, taking the bell and drum to distant lands. From that point on, the female ascetic lived a wandering, non-residential life in the human world, soon becoming famous everywhere for her eloquence. Because Bhadda's hair, after being plucked, grew back in tight curls, people often called her Kuṇḍalakesā, the curly-haired female ascetic. Then, from one kingdom to another, from city to town, the ascetic Kuṇḍalakesā wandered without a permanent residence, living a life of worldly asceticism. She was also called Jambupārabhajika. Notably, Kuṇḍalakesā displayed unparalleled skill in debates on philosophical and ideological subjects, both within and outside the Vedic tradition. She raised the banner of wisdom for an ascetic school that emphasized the eradication of desire through austere living. Wherever she went, she planted a branch of green willow. Over time, when a branch withered, it was replaced by a new branch, and no one dared to remove the willow to challenge her in debate again. One day, when she arrived in the city of Savatthi, the female ascetic Kuṇḍalakesā planted a willow branch right in front of the city gate. A group of curious children gathered around. Venerable Sariputta, returning to the monastery after alms round, saw the children and the willow branch and stopped. "Whose is this, children?" "It belongs to the curly-haired female ascetic." "Venerable sir, a female ascetic, you say?" "Yes, venerable sir, though she dresses plainly and has curly hair. She is very beautiful." The venerable asked, "Then you children should pull out the branch and plant it upside down." "We're scared." "It's all right, I am here." "If she asks, tell her you are disciples of the Buddha." The children cheered, and instead of planting it upside down or pulling it out, they trampled the branch, kicked up dust, broke it into pieces, and scattered it everywhere. When the curly-haired female ascetic returned from her alms round and saw this, she shouted, "Who dares do this? It was not us, but our venerable sir, standing over there." Looking at the venerable, Kuṇḍalakesā saw a monk with a dignified appearance, serene and composed. Suddenly she felt a twinge of unease. She did not know who he was, yet his presence radiated such self-control and confidence. "Are you a disciple of the monk Gautama?" "Yes." "Venerable female ascetic, will you accept an uncompromising debate?" "Yes." "Venerable female ascetic, do you know that accepting such a debate is a risk? If you fail, your honor, reputation, and even that of the monk Gautama will vanish like smoke." "I am fully aware." "Venerable female ascetic." Looking around, the female ascetic announced to everyone, "Then this afternoon, at this residence of the monk Gautama, there will be a debate on the Dharma. Everyone in this city, with ears and understanding, come and listen." Venerable Sariputta humbly said, "Indeed, this afternoon, at the gate of Jetavana Monastery, this humble one will serve the curly-haired female ascetic, a brilliant debater." Soon, the story spread throughout the city of Savatthi. By the afternoon, people had gathered around the open space in front of the gate of Jetavana Monastery. Not only lay people and followers of various religions, but also hundreds of ascetics from many sects and hundreds of monks attended. People whispered to each other, "In this world, is there anyone who can debate better than the foremost elder of the Buddha's order? Truly, a tiny firefly wishes to compete with the sun. Who knows, perhaps a remarkable sage or extraordinary person may appear." Oh, indeed, it is like beating a drum in front of a thunderous house. The crowd fell silent as the curly-haired female ascetic Kuṇḍalakesā appeared. Despite her disheveled, mud-stained robes, her extraordinary beauty could not be concealed. Elder Sariputta solemn and composed, stepped out from the monastery. Everyone was tense and silent. The female ascetic Kuṇḍalakesā asked, "Will you debate as an individual or as a representative of the order of the monk Gautama?" "As an individual, venerable female ascetic. The authority of the order belongs to the Blessed One. No one in this world can represent a fully enlightened Buddha." "Venerable female ascetic." "That will do. Now let me ask, do you require that the questions be limited, or are they unlimited?" Venerable Sariputta, pitying the arrogance and pride of the female ascetic, said, "For me, it does not matter. But for you, venerable female ascetic, you should ask the questions in which you are most skilled, those most beneficial to yourself. Why? This will help you the most. For all philosophies and ideas, both within and outside the Vedic tradition, I am fully knowledgeable. But regarding the Dharma of the Blessed One, you know nothing, not even a tiny fraction." The crowd laughed loudly. Even from the first statement of the elder, it seemed the outcome of the debate had already been hinted at. The female ascetic Kuṇḍalakesā, feeling belittled, angrily shouted, "Enough talk, monk. Listen to my questions." The Venerable gently advised, "Do not be impatient. Calm yourself. Ask the questions you find most difficult regarding Vedic and non-Vedic knowledge on astronomy, geography, ethics, numerology, logic, language, worldly studies, spiritual studies, or anything else that your brilliant mind has learned and collected that you consider your most insightful." The scriptures do not record the detailed content of this fascinating debate, only stating that the female ascetic questioned Venerable Sariputta with 1,000 questions, and it is unclear over how many days. Truly astounding. For each question, the foremost disciple, like a wise sage, explained and analyzed thoroughly, going from outside to inside and inside to outside, not only answering all her questions completely, but also revealing to her the superficiality and shallowness of her own knowledge. The female ascetic listened intently. All her pride vanished. All her cleverness and acumen faded. Her erudition appeared as mere child's play compared to the elder's wisdom. Finally, the Venerable asked, "Are there any more questions, venerable female ascetic?" The female ascetic remained silent. The Venerable spoke gently. "You have asked 1,000 questions, and I have answered. Now it is my turn to ask you a single question." "Yes, Venerable Elder." "Venerable female ascetic, you have asked extensively about heaven and earth. Now my question is, what is one? Speak, Venerable female ascetic. What is one?" The question posed by Venerable Sariputta was truly astonishing and unexpected. After a moment of silence, the assembly suddenly laughed, amused. The female ascetic was stunned. Time passed. She began to sweat, and even the stone statues seemed to sweat. Venerable Sariputta slowly spoke, word by word. If the female ascetic does not even know what one is, how can she claim to understand everything? Yet she seeks to know all the philosophies and thoughts of heaven and earth. Let me ask something simpler about this one. What is this one? Just one Dharma, which all beings rely upon, without which life cannot exist. Time passed. I give up. I cannot answer. Now I ask of another one, the Supreme One, the Ultimate One, like the ultimate entity, or the final absolute one Dharma. What is this one, venerable female ascetic? I give up as well. Let me clarify further. This one will put an end to all suffering and affliction. I surrender. I completely surrender. Venerable Sariputta smiled. Then, if the female ascetic abandons her own vain and hollow philosophies, ordains under the Blessed One, she will know what this one is. But I want to know what this one is right now. Become a bhikkhuni. Study the Dharma that liberates from suffering. Practice and cultivate the Dharma that frees from suffering. And then you will know the answer to this one yourself. Then please allow me to join the order of nuns. Thus, the debate concluded. Upon learning that the one who bested her in argument was a chief disciple of the Buddha, a general of the Dharma, and leader of the order, the female ascetic no longer felt embarrassed. Afterward, Venerable Sariputta sent the female ascetic Kuṇḍalakesā to the Buddha. Recognizing her deep potential, her aptitude, and capacity for practice and wisdom, the Buddha gave her a concise yet essential teaching on the aggregates, khandhas, the bases, ayatanas, the precepts, sila, impurity, asubha, impermanence, anicca, suffering, dukkha, and non-self, anatta. The female ascetic attained the Dharma eye, then knelt and approached the Buddha, hands folded above her head in deep respect, to request ordination. The Buddha simply said, "Come here, Bhaddā." Ehi Bhaddā. Thus, the female ascetic became a bhikkhuni, now known fully as Bhaddā Kuṇḍalakesā, and subsequently she went to live in a nunnery. On that very day, while washing her feet, she noticed the water flowing and gradually seeping into the earth. A true insight arose. All formations, sankharas, are similar to this. Finding a quiet place, she observed her mind with clarity, seeing how the aggregates arose and ceased, impermanence and non-self, and she swiftly attained arahantship, along with all supernormal knowledges, in the stillness and silence, both inwardly and outwardly. That night, Bhaddā Kuṇḍalakesā reflected on each of her past lives, each fragment of existence, each realm, joys, sorrows, smiles, tears. In the wavering mist, her forms appeared, half visible, half not. Animal life, human life, princess, queen, peasant, impoverished slave, hungry ghost, heavenly beings, devas of Brahma realms. All were clearly revealed before her eyes, like endless waves undulating across the ocean of samsara. In the time of Buddha Padumuttara, Kuṇḍalakesā was born into a wealthy family in the city of Hamsaft. While listening to the Buddha's teachings, she saw Elder Nun Subha honored as the foremost bhikkhuni who attained arahantship with the fastest insight. She deeply aspired to be recognized as a foremost bhikkhuni in the future. After making many offerings, she expressed her aspiration before Buddha Padumuttara, and he prophesied that her wish would be fulfilled in the time of Buddha Gautama. After passing through 100,000 cycles of world systems, in either the heavenly or human realms, Kuṇḍalakesā was reborn as the fourth daughter, named Bhikkhadayika, among the 7 daughters of King Kik of Varanasi, during the time of Buddha Kassapa. In that lifetime, she, like her sisters, lived a pure life for 20,000 years, observing the 10 precepts. She also contributed, along with her sisters, to endow a large monastery for the Sangha. Princess Bhikkhadayika continued to be reborn in heavenly or human realms through the cycles of world systems during the transitional period between Buddhas. In the time of Buddha Gautama, she was reborn as the daughter of a wealthy man in Rajagaha named Bhaddā, as previously narrated. Oh, how wondrous is the arrangement of karma, conditions, fruition, and retribution, and how wondrous it is when the dust of defilements is gone. The realm of liberation is vast and boundless, without visible boundaries. The next morning, Bhaddā Kuṇḍalakesā, the bhikkhuni, approached the Buddha to pay homage with a sense of transcendence, as a daughter expressing gratitude to a supremely virtuous father. The Blessed One, knowing the events that had transpired, smiled the smile of Dharma and recited a simple verse so that everyone could focus on the essence in practice. Even with hundreds of thousands of words, speaking in vain achieves nothing. Better to use few words, few expressions, hear and attain peace. Live a life free of suffering. Bhaddā Kuṇḍalakesā had no words, only acknowledging the truth that the Buddha had taught. I deeply experience that truth, Venerable Sir. I have been born into the limitless Dharma. When she approached to pay homage at the feet of Venerable Sariputta, she was deeply moved and said, "If I had known that in this world there exists a wise Sangha with such enlightened people, I would not have dared to ask a single question." Venerable Sariputta smiled. "Bhaddā Kuṇḍalakesā, what is this immortal one?" The newly enlightened bhikkhuni smiled silently. The Venerable asked playfully, "Does it abide?" "No." "Venerable Sir." "Does it flow?" "No." "Venerable Sir." "Does it both abide and flow?" "No, Venerable Sir." "Does it neither abide nor flow?" "No, Venerable Sir." These four categories are all inapplicable. Thank you, Bhaddā Kuṇḍalakesā. You are certain to become an excellent preacher among the nuns. And so it was. Not only sharp in insight, but also eloquent in speech, Bhaddā Kuṇḍalakesā made the order of nuns, renowned, shining brightly for 50 years, while her feet wandered from Anga through Magadha, Vajji, Kasi, and Kosala to teach and guide beings. The story of Bhaddā Kuṇḍalakesā is not only the mark of a single lifetime, but also a guiding light for us today, that wisdom and liberation are open to all, regardless of gender or social status, whether rich or poor. Through letting go and firm resolve, a noble young lady became an arihant bhikkhuni, radiant in the Buddha's teachings. Bhadda's story shows us that everyone can lose their way at times. But what matters is having the courage to turn back and choose the path of light. If you find this story meaningful, try pausing for a moment in the busyness of life. Breathe more slowly, listen to yourself, and plant a seed of goodness with a kind word or a small act of virtue. And if today's story brings you a bit of peace, share it with friends and family. Perhaps just one video can plant seeds of faith and light in someone's heart.